Hey, how's it going, my super friends? I am Emo Acebo. Thanks for watching the vid. This is Thor Week. Welcome to Thor Week. I will be releasing a video each day, a daily video talking about Thor, something Thor related, in celebration of Thor Ragnarok coming out this Thursday. And of course, Thursday I will be releasing my review for the movie, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Today the focus is gonna be the top 5 comics or the top 5 stories. My favorite 5 stories from the God of Thunder himself. Starting off with number 5, we got Thor Disassembled, or Thor Volume 2, issues 80 to 85. This is the second volume of Thor, and it ended in an absolutely epic fashion. The events of Avengers Disassembled, where the Avengers appropriately just disassembled. This arc spiraled into the realm of Asgard. In this story, Thor and Asgard are faced with the coming of Ragnarok, something we're gonna see in the movie, aka the end of the world in Norse mythology. Of course, this wasn't the first time the gods of Asgard endured such a big-ass threat, but it's the story's awareness of the seemingly never-ending cycle of world-ending prophecies and events that sets this arc apart from its predecessors. And in this story, Thor has a choice of ending this cycle for good and beginning his eternal rest. The depiction of Thor's choice and its ramifications for himself and the universe feeds directly into one of the more dramatic final chapters of a story arc in Thor Comics history. And that's why I love it. At number 4, we got Mangog. Thor number 154 to 157. This is arguably one of the best, or the pinnacle, of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby's amazing run on Thor during the Silver Age. This is a 4-part storyline, and it presents a doomsday, again, a Ragnarok scenario for Thor and Asgard, thanks to the introduction of the big-ass Mangog. Now this beast is powered by the hatred of a billion beings, namely his descendants who he alleges were killed by Odin. Despite Thor's immense power, he can only battle Mangog to a standstill. So he places the fate of the universe into peril until Odin is able to resurrect the creature's kin, and it diminishes the Mangog's hatred-fueled size and power. This storyline is a perfect example of how Lee and Kirby just create larger-than-life stories, man, and threats, and make it appear that the odds were too much for the hero to overcome, only to pay off the conflict in satisfying fashion. Number 3, we got Thor Volume 3 by J. Michael Straczynski. I really enjoyed reading this story, man. It's a superstar, J. Michael Straczynski and the artist Oliver Coipel. They're awesome artists, man. They reintroduced Thor into the Marvel Universe after a nearly 3-year absence. Straczynski, who also got a story writer credit for the 2011 Thor film, he crafts a phenomenal story that's a whole new spin on the getting the band back together motif. There's a lot of cool and memorable moments in this story, like Thor floating Asgard over the rural Oklahoma as a means to avoid any planning and zoning violations. He played by rules, man. He played by the man's rules. We got the search for Lady Sif, who was trapped in the body of a dying woman. And of course, a really emotional moment. Thor absolutely owning Tony Stark. After Stark and the pro-registration stance in Civil War, he approaches his old Avenger teammates about registering his identity with the federal government. Emotional as fuck, man. You have to read this one. Straczynski and Coipel, they just brought a badass story, a different version, spirit to Thor that hadn't been seen on the book or the character since the Simonson glory days. Number 2, we got the God Butcher, Gore the God Butcher, the Godbomb. Jason Aaron is doing miracles, man. He's great, awesome at writing mythology of gods, especially the God of Thunder. These are the issues 1 through 11 of Jason Aaron's run on Thor. It was part of a 2012's Marvel Now initiative, and it kicked off the series with the terrifying villain Gore the God Butcher. Now this storyline is murder mystery and the time stream jumping epic. It's just amazing. The artwork depicting 3 generations of Thors, and the brutality, the violence, all the craziness of Gore is just absolutely gorgeous. Beyond the action, beyond Thor wielding a battle axe and the hammer Mjolnir, the story also offers an insightful look at Thor's character. It splits him into 3 time streams. So we get to see Thor the cocky, the young cocky Thor. We get to see Thor the Avengers that we know and love from the comics. And we get to see old King Thor, who is the spitting image of his father Odin. And despite the differences between these 3, all iterations of Thor are completely likable, just the word hero to the end of it, and worth cheering for. Amazing story of what it means to be a hero and why Thor is just badass and awesome to read. And number 1, my favorite story revolving Thor is the Surtur Saga, of course, man. A Walt Simonson amazing story. This is Thor numbers 340 to 353, and it's a gem. It's a gem of a Simonson story. He was slowly building over the first 2 years of his tenure on the title. Bit by bit, he was teasing readers with images of this evil Surtur with the ominous sound of doom. He was just teasing, man. And when this evil creature is finally at full power, Simonson concludes this arc with a run of issues where both the fate of Asgard and Midgard, which is Earth, are at stake. There are iconic images: Thor, Loki, Odin standing side by side, each calling out for how they're fighting for. Odin is Asgard, Thor Midgard, and Loki, myself. And the final pages where it depicts Odin sacrificing himself to defeat Surtur. It's just amazing. The perfect story revolving Thor and what it means to be the god of thunder. Everything revolving Asgard and mythology. And despite the massive impact we got to see in this story, Odin was presumed dead for a lengthy period of time. So this led to an ongoing storyline where Thor and Loki, they engaged in this cold war over who should rule Asgard, who's gonna be king. So this Surtur Saga has not been adapted in the MCU, but man, I think they could be using this after Thor Ragnarok. Imagine if Odin dies in the MCU, who's gonna rule Asgard? Maybe they can adapt this. We're gonna see Surtur, we're gonna see the lack of a king maybe. So it'd be awesome if they went for the Surtur Saga type of stuff. Amazing story. Thanks for watching my vid, guys. These were my top 5 comics or stories revolving Thor. Amazing storytelling by all these artists. Simonson and Jason Aaron are my favorite. It's just amazing to read. I revisit those comics every now and again, and I love it, man. Hope you guys check them out if you haven't, and if you have, cool. Tell me in the comments down below what was your favorite if you read them, or if you haven't, which one sounds like it's gonna be cool. Tell me in the comments down below your review. What's up? If you enjoyed, please click the like button. Check out my social media, Memo Acebo, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to see more. I will be making another Thor video tomorrow revolving villains, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and of course, I'll see you in the next one.